What's happening this week in Warcraft? It should be obvious. Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW coverage, and catching me whenever I'm live. The general release of the War Within expansion launches just hours from the upload of this video, and I'm going to walk you through what to expect without spoilers, apart from, well, warning you of possible launch day disasters. Hopefully you're prepared with liquids and snacks, and you're well rested and ready to go with empty bags. There are a number of promotions going on starting with the launch. Twitch is doing a drops campaign for the Ghastly Charger mount. All you have to do is watch a WoW streamer for 4 hours. There's also a support a streamer program. Pick the streamer of your choice, and while they're live and streaming World of Warcraft, give 2 subscriptions to receive the Watcher of the Hunter's Pet. More details on this are on the promo page, and I'll link that in the video description. I'm going to be on Twitch about an hour before launch, and I'll do the same thing I always do, a long broadcast to celebrate the festivities, answer questions, and do my own giveaways, including pets, mounts, and a War Within Epic upgrade code for North American users. Due to the nature of how I do my giveaways, I will not be dual streaming on YouTube this week. I apologize for that. But for now, let's get ready. Be sure you've completed the 10.2.7 and 11.0 pre-expansion quests. Check your campaign quest header to see if you're missing anything. If everything works out, launch will begin with you receiving a quest to return to Dalaran on the Broken Isles and begin the launch experience. Quick advice, during the event, turn on the music, at least for a little while, because it plays off really well, I think. Jumping ahead a little bit, you're going to end up in Dornogal, the new hub city. Take your time to soak in the layout and what's new because, well, it's pretty cool. This is the most city-like capital we've played through if you main a Horde character at least. Alliance players coming from the likes of Borealis, you might be like, okay, this is kind of nice. Thanks to warbands, there are many ways to approach your leveling, but I do have a bit of advice to get the most out of your first time experience without repeating a lot of busy work. Your first playthrough is linear, as in you play through zones in order. You have access to skywriting almost right away, but steady flight is not available yet. Those of you who have not enjoyed dragon riding or skywriting, I don't have the best assurances for you other than to say there are no situations where you must fly, skywriting or not, in order to complete the main quest content. A little while back, I even leveled without flying at all with 0 issues, not even where I'd use flying to skip mobs or dangers. I strongly suggest sticking to one character first, doing the campaign, and take that all the way to max level. By doing so, alongside completing the leveling campaign and exploring the map, you'll unlock a host of benefits for your warband. You'll learn Pathfinder, which gives your warband steady flight capability. You'll unlock Adventure Mode, enabling your alts to play in any zone they want without being tied down by the linear campaign your first character went through. I've been hearing conflicting reports, and I can only speak to my own experience here, but the intro skip seems to require completion of the entire campaign and to unlock Adventure Mode. Once done, your alts can opt to go directly to Khazalgar via the portal room, or characters that pick up the initial War Within questline can teleport to Silithus, talk to Thrall for the turn-in, and then activate a skip that will bypass the intro and take the character directly to Dornogal. In the War Within, a lot of completion credit is shared across your warband, including quest completion. So you're going to want to consider, maybe even organize what quests you want to do on what character. Now there's no wrong answer, like if you want a lore master on one character only, cool, knock yourself out. On the other hand, what I'm currently working on is to have certain characters do all the side quests in one zone, but not all others. Call me crazy, it just kind of feels clean to me to assign a character to a zone and knock that out. Something to point out if you're trying to speed level is to not worry about trying to reach max level too fast and farm up stuff before the reset. All that stuff like daily content won't be enabled until the first official reset, which has not happened yet, not even for early access users. If there is a goal to reach, it's to at least reach max level once and unlock Pathfinder and Adventure Mode. The first reset, which is your scheduled usual reset, is when the cool stuff really starts. Now, I want to make this clear, this is kind of an early pre-recording, and what I tell you might not be accurate, and in a video later this week, I'm going to try and get into preseason gearing. For now, this is just an overview of what there is to do. After the first reset, preseason officially begins with many of the guardrails lifted away. Weekly activities will give various rewards, which I'll talk about in a bit. Folks with professions that have a skill level of 25 and higher should get profession weekly quests, while skill level 70 unlocks patron crafting orders, basically NPCs asking for stuff to be made. Now, I'm not sure if that high skill level requirement is intended or if it's going to stay for long. Like, I've started seeing patron orders anywhere between skill level 60 and 70, but that's what's been reported. Heroic dungeons will be available, but not via queue. You'll need to group up for those, not unlike doing Mythic Zeros, and the daily lockout still applies. Let's break down the outdoor activities that give significant rewards. Think of these as not so different from doing like soup, the hunt, super bloom, weekly rewards for decent gear. During the preseason, these activities will give out adventurer level gear. When the season starts and going forward, it's going to be veteran gear. And I'm going to remind you of that again in a few weeks, but like I said, we're just focused on the what to do so you get used to it. In town, there's going to be a major weekly quest. It's sort of random, it sometimes involves group content and sometimes not, and I'm awarded this Pinnacle Cache. The tooltip is what's important. This has really useful information, and we'll get back to that. Elsewhere in the Zone of Dorn is a local activity, this theater troupe. Think time rift with this one, zipping around, completing small objectives, and then getting a goodie bag similar to this Pinnacle Cache. Down in the Ringing Deeps is a totally different activity, Awakening the Machine. You can hop into this activity at any time, it's instanced, and it's pretty combat heavy, having you endure rounds of fighting. Clear the minimum number of required rounds, and you get a cache. Down in Halifal is yet another different activity, Spreading the Light. Here, you're helping folks light up these key flames, these big old bonfires, and completing one quest after another. It's another very combat-heavy activity with a cache at the end. And in Azj-Kahet, helping out the different factions in the zone gives a different cache. On top of that, select zones will have a special assignment objective. To unlock that, complete 3 world quests in that zone, and then progress to the special quest for another kind of cache. This is all part of the new approach Blizzard's taking for outdoor activities, which all award the same thing with these variations. Completing any 2 will give the cache that I mentioned with gear along with keys for use in delves. Completing 2 more for a total of 4 of these, it's not going to get you more gear, but you'll still get these resources for keys. And you can continue farming the rest for your own enrichment or extra currencies and reputation depending on the activity. In short, you can just do what you want because they're easy or because they'll give you the most of what you need. Apart from this entirely, a weekly quest is often given a boatload of reputation. I'd be lying if I knew which reputation to beef up first. Part of me thinks going for one of the Severed Threads factions is a good idea because it seems like they'll take the longest to rep up with, but again, I don't know. And let's talk about delves during the preseason. There are 12 in total, with a 13th to be revealed during Season 1 after completing some requirements. At max level, delves should drop item level 554 gear. It's not strong enough to be even upgradable. But certain delves will be temporarily highlighted as bountiful, meaning if you go into these and complete them, at the end is an additional chest you can open with delve keys that I mentioned earlier. During the preseason, the highest difficulty level is 3. This might not interest everyone, not even after things pick up with the season, but those who are interested should know about a kind of loop that keeps you running delves for longer. Bountiful delves drop gear and also these Radiant Echo tokens. These can be used in certain places around the world to start up events similar to the Radiant Echo events that we had at the end of Dragonflight. The long and short of it is, well, it's pretty familiar. You just kill lots of mobs, and the better you do, the more rewards you get. The rewards include Valor Stones, aka Flight Stones, and materials to make more keys to run more Bountiful delves, which closes the loop. We'll talk more on that when Season 1 starts, when this really comes into play for early gearing. For now, I suggest to folks, hey, dive in, check them out. They start off easy, but there's a bit of challenge in learning how they work because sometimes it'll change a bit. Also, powering up Bran will do nothing but help your alts when it's time for them to venture into delves. Here's what you can expect to fill your days during the preseason. Plenty of questing throughout the leveling zones, pretty quick leveling especially after the first playthrough, a 5% stacking experience bonus builds up for your first 5 characters, and reportedly dungeon experience gains are really good. There are tons of side quests to fill out the story of Khazalgar, and you'll get some early reputation. Renown farming isn't as critical this time around, but Renown level 7 and 8 award veteran class gear, so it's a good idea to shoot for early season progression. For the most part, your gear is going to peak at around adventurer level, so somewhere in the 580s. On the profession side of things, it's going to be chaotic with the general player base slamming into the fragile economy early access players try to make. A few tips there: gathering wins and storm dust for enchanting is a very hot commodity. Visit the crafting order station in Dornagal for your starting artisan acuity and a resource bag of your choice. Did I mention that storm dust is pretty valuable? You can expect a preview of the trading post to come sometime this week, so be sure you grab goodies from the trading post chest, and the Darkmoon Fair will be in town this coming Sunday. Not sure if the reputation and XP bonus will apply, so be on the lookout for news on that as well as profession quests. That's what we know so far, but let's also be prepared for some last-minute hotfixes just before a general launch. I'm going to be on an hour or so before launch to join in on the party, answer questions, and of course have a chat. I'm always happy to help where I can. Please like this video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, And let's have Bob take us out since it's a trading post week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.
Hey look, it's a new month, come and join me. We're gonna do collecties. Cause tender is my breakfast, tender's what I breathe. Tender is the loot I collect from the corpses. Tender's running through my veins, tender's both my pleasure and pain. It's like coffee, tender's in my cup. Suddenly it's not cause I bought things. Check me on my badass broomstick mount. Got my tender than your mama can count. Done.